الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على نبيه المصطفى وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سار على نهجه مقتدى وعلى أثر اقتفى. All praise is due to Allah, whom we seek His help, we seek His forgiveness, and mercy, blessings be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, peace be upon him, and all those who follow his footsteps till the day of judgment. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, many of Muslims, they read Surat Al-Kahf on Friday. And many of them, they are so keen that they should not end the day except they read Surat Al-Kahf. And once you ask them a question that why you are reading Surat Al-Kahf, my brother, they will ask or they will answer that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us to do so. So today, I would like to just mention few ahadith that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us, so we will know what and why and what's the wisdom behind reading Surah Al-Kahf. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in Sahih Muslim that whoever memorize only 10 ayat of Surah Al-Kahf, Allah Almighty will protect him from fitnat ad-Dajjal. And also there is a narration that whoever memorized the last 10 ayat, the last 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf, Allah Almighty will protect him from fitnat ad-Dajjal. And there is another hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam also mentioned that whoever recites the last 10 ayat, verses of Surah Al-Kahf, Allah Almighty will protect him from Dajjal and his fitna. Another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that whoever recites Surah Al-Kahf on Friday, Allah Almighty will protect him for whole week. And if Dajjal appears, Allah will protect him from Dajjal. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in a hadith that whoever recites Surah Al-Kahf on Friday, Allah Almighty will bring light for him for a whole week. This light could be in his heart, this light could be in his brain, this light could be in his sight. Allah ta'ala a'lam. So what we understand from all these ahadith, few ahadith that I just mentioned, that Surah Al-Kahf will protect you from Dajjal, from the fitna, the trials and tribulation of Dajjal. Surah Al-Kahf will protect you even in this dunya from the fitna on daily basis. Surah Al-Kahf also will bring light for you for a whole week if you recite it on Jum'ah. Then let's get into the Surah Al-Kahf by itself. What is Surah Al-Kahf and what exactly Surah Al-Kahf is talking about? I'm sure that most of you, if not all of you, read Surah Al-Kahf on Friday. And you know what it talks about exactly. In brief, I'll tell you it talks about 4 stories. The story number 1, it talks about some people, bunch of kids. Allah gave them iman, hidayah, and they want to protect themselves, their deen, so they migrated from the bilad al-kufr, from the kufr land. So they want to save their deen. So the conclusion of the whole story, I have no time to get into the whole story. The conclusion of the whole story is fitnat ad-deen. There is a fitna of their deen in this story. The second story is a story of Ashabul Jannatain, a person who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifted him and blessed him with garden. And in that garden, there is everything, all kind of fruits, all kind of vegetables, the rivers and everything. But this man, he disbelieved in Allah. This man, he rejected the blessings of Allah. This man even does not want to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and looking down upon the other people. And he's saying to his fellow that I'm better than you. I have more money. I have more children. I have more wealth. What happened at the end? That Allah Almighty sent wind, and this wind vanished and destroyed all his garden. So the conclusion of this story, my brothers and sisters, is that there is a fitna of wealth in this story. The third story talks about Musa and Khidr alayhim as-salam. One day Musa alayhi salam, he was asked that who is the most knowledgeable person on this earth? So by default, he said, I am the one, because he is the prophet. He talks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Almighty revealed to him that, no, Musa, there is someone better than you. Go and learn from him. So he went all the way to meet Khidr alayhi salam. Long story, the moral or the conclusion of the story, that this story talks about the fitnat of knowledge. The trial and tribulation of knowledge. A person might be misguided with even his knowledge. The fourth story talks about what? Talks about Dhul Qarnayn, a justice ruler who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the authority and the power and everything, and he was roaming around the world, spreading khair, spreading the justice. The conclusion of the story talks about the authority, and this authority can be also a fitna. for a person. So we have 4 stories, 2 at the beginning, 2 at the end. In the middle, exactly at the ayah 50, at the verse 50, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us that all these stories are controlled by shaitan. Shaitan, the one who is messing up with everything. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَفَتَتَّخِذُونَهُ وَذُرِّيَّتَهُ أَوْلِيَاءَ مِن دُونِي وَهُمْ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ. That are you taking shaitan and his progeny as your guidelines, and they are your enemy? You should not do this. Now again, what all these stories and the morals of the stories and the conclusion of the stories has to do with Dajjal? Where is Dajjal in the whole thing? Dajjal is not mentioned in the whole surah, so where is Dajjal? Just to letting you know, my brothers and sisters, when Dajjal will come, he will come with all kind of fitna, all kind of trials and tribulation for the people. In fact, he himself, a big fitna, the biggest fitna at his time from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when he will come to the people, what he will say? He will tell people that I am your Lord, Ana Rabb, worship me. And some people will worship him, to be honest with you. So what he will do, he will shake people's belief, he will shake people's deen. So he is making fitna in their deen, he is making fitna in their religion, to making these people follow him. So number 1, he made the same thing what happened with the people of Kahf. Same link. They got problem with their iman, or they want to run to save their iman, and people will lose their iman here. Secondly, he will come and he will say, or he will command the sky will rain. Imagine, a person will look at the sky and he will say, rain, and it will rain. He will look at the earth and he will say, take whatever you have. The earth will split and all the gold and silver and even you call it today the oil, everything will come up. And he will tell people, I am your Lord, believe me. And if you believe me, you take whatever you want from gold and silver. So those who have, those who are wicked, they have sickness in their heart for this money, they will follow him. So they got into the fitna of mal, fitna of wealth. So they lost their deen as well because of the wealth. Third thing that he will say to the people, he will tell people things that they never heard of. He will bring one believer and he will say, I am your Lord, I am your Rabb, worship me. And he will say no, because he's a believer. He will say, you are Dajjal. He will cut him, he will chop him into 2. And he will tell to the other people that, do you believe me that I am Rabb if I bring him back to the life? And they will say yes. He will command the body, and by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's will, the body will resurrect again. And he will say, do you believe I am your Rabb? This man, he will say, no. I become more and more confident that you are Dajjal. So he will take him and he will throw him into a fire. It appears fire to the people, but in reality it's a cold water. So he will throw him there and he will tell people that, do you believe now I am Rabb? The people will say, yes, we believe you that you are Rabb. And they will follow him and he will make fitna of his own knowledge. People will follow him. And also he will control the majority part of the land or the world. So this is the fitna of the authority, that he is having everything under him. And people will follow him because of this authority. So exactly the same thing that Allah Almighty told us in the 4 stories, he is doing the same things and more. Now what is the solution, my brothers and sisters? How we will protect ourselves? Okay, we know what's in Surat Al-Kahf. We know what Prophet ﷺ said about Surat Al-Kahf. We know Dajjal will come and he will do exactly the same things that the surah told us. Now how to protect yourself? In short, Allah Almighty and Prophet ﷺ gave us deen that there is all kind of solutions. It's not just a deen and you deal with it. No, it's a deen, way of life, and there is solution as well. Number 1, regarding protecting your own deen. Allah Almighty told us in the same surah, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ. Be with those who worship Allah and have patience. So Allah Almighty is telling us that even in the time of fitna that we are living nowadays, that you have to stick with a good friends, good company, good environment, good companion, so they will make you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will remind you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will make your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stronger. This is number 1, that you have to stick with the good companion. The second thing about the wealth. Regarding the wealth, my brothers and sisters, that all of us, that Allah Almighty gave us somehow wealth. Even the one who does not have salary or work or job, wallahi, you will find that he is having a mobile in his hand, and a car, and a place to sleep, and something to eat. Wallahi, he is living like a king. And maybe this person, this simple person, will look down upon the other people. Exactly what happened with the second story. That the person start looking down, this man start looking down upon his own friend. So, how you protect yourself? Imagine this is with the normal person. What about if a person, Allah gave him salary and a money and a wealth and house and real estate and whatsoever? He can be misguided very soon. What you have to do to be on this deen? Allah Almighty told us that you have to know the reality of this dunya. The reality of this dunya by knowing وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ حَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Allah Almighty told us that given the example of this dunya, dunya means something very lower, by the way. So this is not something good, dunya. Dunya means something very lower stage. We are living in a very lower stage and we fight for it. So Allah Almighty told us about the dunya that Allah Almighty sends water from sky. This water goes and mingles with the earth, and then the plant come. The plant will not live for long until it become yellow and dry, and a small wind or little wind will come and blow and everything is gone. This is dunya exactly. This is dunya. You're here today and you're going tomorrow. That's it. And I said this, and I would like to say it also and remind all of you, those who are at the age of 40, wallahi, you will think that yesterday you was at the age of 20. Today you are 40, you're gone. The one who was at the age of 50 and 60, wallahi, you will remember that just yesterday, I was young. Today I'm gone. Tomorrow you will be carried and that's it. They will bury you. So this is dunya. We have to know the reality of this dunya because anyways you have to leave it. So it doesn't matter if you have a wealth or money or a power or whatsoever, you are leaving this dunya and you're going to akhirah. So you have to concentrate on the akhirah. Third, fitnatul ilm. That happened with Musa alayhi salam and Khidr alayhi salam. And this is another problem I said. That just by reading few articles, few ahadith, few Islamic websites, people think that they are muftis. They will go and put down other people and they will give fatwa and they will say bad things about this scholar or that scholar. Who we are to do this? Musa alayhi salam, he is a Nabi. He is the one who talked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly. He didn't say when he went to Khidr alayhi salam. The first thing Khidr alayhi salam, he told him that you cannot have patience with me. I will not teach you. He didn't say, how dare you talking to me like this? I'm a prophet. He didn't say that. What he said, سَتَجِدُنِي إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ صَابِرًا. And this is what we have to learn. That he said, inshallah, you will find me patient with you. Just take me with you, teach me. And this is what we have to do. We have to learn with sabr. We have to learn from ulama, not from YouTube. We have to learn from the mashayikh, from the real scholars that fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have sahih aqidah, they have sahih belief. And last but not least, fitnatul sulta, the fitna of authority. Now somewhere, somehow, you know that authority is everywhere now. Wasta is everything now. In Kuwait and out of the Kuwait. If you know some people, khalas, you're the best person. So even if you have the authority, if you have the position, if you know people, if you can do whatever you want to do, if you are doing it for sake of name, wallahi, you will not get into Jannah. Except by Allah's mercy. Because you are doing it for your own fame. But if you do everything for the sake of Allah, then Allah will accept it from you. So the authority can make you out of the track. What's required? Allah Almighty told us here. فَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَاءَ رَبِّهِ. If any one of you hope to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he should do good deeds and righteousness. Then you will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he is satisfied. So even if you have the authority to do anything and if you have the position to do anything, fear Allah and do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our deen. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our iman. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our country and our family. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام بنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة.